Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 9 may have just changed everything regarding how we see Boruto's karma. This latest chapter of Boruto definitely gave us a ton of new content, such as possible hints at Orochimaru working together with Kashin Koji and Boruto, Boruto and Kawaki facing off, more information on Jura, and most notably the fact that Kurama has now returned and Kurama resides within Himawari. However, out of all of the things that we saw, the thing that I want to talk about the most is the situation regarding Boruto's Karma Seal, because this chapter actually dropped a whole lot of information talking about it. Boruto's Karma Seal has been a staple of the Boruto franchise since the very beginning, since chapter 1 when we saw Boruto use it for the very first time. At the time, we had absolutely no idea what the Karma Seal actually was, and then Momoshiki was introduced, and with the defeat of Momoshiki, Boruto was granted the Karma Seal. As the series went on, following Momoshiki's defeat, Boruto's Karma Seal only grew further in power, granting Boruto more abilities and bigger power boosts. And then we got to see the Karma Seal fully emerge within Boruto with the introduction of Kawaki. And since then, the Karma Seal has become a staple in Boruto's arsenal. Throughout part 1, Boruto used it in almost every single one of his fights because to Boruto, this was his main ability. Just like how Kurama was Naruto's main ability throughout the Naruto series, the Karma Seal is Boruto's main ability. However, the problem for Boruto came when we figured out what the Karma Seal truly was. The Karma Seal was simply a way for the Otsutsukis to reincarnate inside a new vessel. Basically, it's explained that Momoshiki converted himself into data, that being the Karma Seal, and transferred that data over to Boruto. So Momoshiki still resides inside of Boruto's body and is slowly trying to take it over. And this quickly became a massive issue for Boruto because Momoshiki just started manifesting himself anytime Boruto got weakened, such as when Boruto nearly lost against Boro, along with the time when Boruto fought Ishiki, and then after that fight, Momoshiki emerged and permanently nerfed Sasuke by just stabbing out his Rinnegan. Boruto's DNA at this point had already transformed into 100% Otsutsuki. Boruto wasn't an Uzumaki, he wasn't a Hyuga, he was pure Otsutsuki. And in order to suppress Momoshiki further, Boruto had to start taking medicine that allowed him to do so. Boruto continues to further master his Karma Seal as shown in his fight with Code, as he introduces a version 2 of the Karma Seal, which brought out the Karma Seal's true essence and power and allowed him to use it at will without Momoshiki actually taking over Boruto's body. However, this version 2 Karma Seal was very short-lived, as in the very next chapter, Momoshiki ended up taking over Boruto's body because Boruto had tired himself out too much while fighting Code. Momoshiki once again became a problem for absolutely everyone, and this time, it actually forced Kawaki's hand in killing Boruto entirely in order to fully get rid of Momoshiki. However, Momoshiki could not afford to lose Boruto whatsoever, so he used 10% of his own data in order to revive Boruto. And with this revival, Momoshiki revealed that it was impossible for him to resurrect now because he had to use his own data in order to revive Boruto. So while his soul still exists within Boruto's body, it is completely impossible for him to resurrect himself using Boruto as a vessel. And we assumed that this was a good sign because we thought that it meant that Momoshiki could no longer take over Boruto's body as he used the last 10% of himself to revive Boruto. However, this hope was very short-lived, as just a few chapters later, when Kawaki decides to go rogue, Momoshiki once again takes over Boruto's body and actually saves Kawaki from being captured. So the Karma Seal, which at first was a blessing for Boruto, which granted him plenty of new abilities and powers, had now become a curse by the end of part 1, causing him nothing but trouble. However, we still saw this as one of Boruto's main abilities, and ever since the time skip started, we as fans have been waiting for Boruto to activate his Karma Seal once again And we finally got this in the latest chapter, just not how we expected it to. In this latest chapter, Boruto faces off against Kawaki for the very first time during this time skip, and he absolutely embarrasses Kawaki. I mean, he dodges both of his attacks and then proceeds to completely just one-shot him with a single punch. However, Kawaki then proceeds to activate his Karma Seal, and through resonance, Boruto's Karma Seal ends up activating as well, and this is where we see something interesting, because for the first time ever, we see Boruto start panicking during the time skip and start sweating over the situation. Kashin Koji even tells Boruto, "This is bad, the karmas are resonating, you need to leave now, put distance between you or you're going to lose control." And this made Kawaki begin to wonder that Boruto cannot control his karma. The only times we've seen Boruto lose complete control over his Karma Seal is when he is extremely weakened or damaged. That has been the case for every single time Boruto has lost control. When he lost control against Boro, he was weakened. When he lost control against Ishiki, he was weakened. When he lost control against Code, he was also weakened. And then when he lost control against Kawaki, he was once again weakened. However, Boruto is at complete full strength here. He is not tired, he's not weakened at all, he barely had to fight Kawaki considering that he one-shot him, and yet he's at risk of losing control. And what's stranger is the fact that this is just version 1 karma. Boruto has always been able to control version 1. It's version 2 when this becomes an issue. So the fact that Boruto can't control version 1 anymore is concerning. What's scarier to think about is the fact that something must have happened during the time skip in order for Kashin Koji and everyone else that trained Boruto to realize that Boruto cannot control his Karma Seal any longer. You guys remember how in the very beginning of Naruto Shippuden, Jiraiya reveals the massive scar he received from Naruto losing control of Kurama during their training? Well, I'm predicting that a very similar thing happened to Boruto during his time skip training, except to a much bigger extent. Momoshiki had to have taken over Boruto's body at least once during the time skip for them to know that Boruto can no longer have full control over his karma. Also, now that we know that Kawaki has a way of forcefully summoning Momoshiki via his Karma Seal, this gets me thinking about the future sequence that we saw in episode 1 and in chapter 1 of Boruto, where we saw Boruto and Kawaki fighting one another, with Boruto telling Kawaki, "I didn't think you would take it this far." And also we saw the entire Leaf Village destroyed during this future sequence, and I always wondered, I don't think either one of these characters would try to escalate their fight so far with one another that it would destroy the entire Leaf Village. However, do you know who doesn't care about the Leaf Village at all? Momoshiki. So what I'm predicting is that in this future sequence, Kawaki isn't only fighting Boruto. Kawaki beforehand was fighting Momoshiki, and via defeating Momoshiki, Momoshiki became suppressed, and Boruto was able to now activate his karma once again to fight Kawaki. So instead of it being Kawaki versus Boruto that destroys the Hidden Leaf Village, I'm predicting that it's going to be Kawaki versus Momoshiki that destroys the Hidden Leaf Village. And this revelation actually balances out Boruto and Kawaki in terms of power by a lot, because in this latest chapter, we saw that in a fight, Boruto completely stomps Kawaki. I mean, we saw him just one-shot him, and he even asks Kawaki, "Have you even been training during these years?" So, we know that in terms of power, Boruto is stronger. However, the fact that Kawaki has his Karma Seal, and he can forcefully make Boruto just retreat and drop everything with the activation of Resonance, balances them out a lot in terms of power. The fact that Boruto's greatest strength has become his biggest weakness, I feel like is absolutely phenomenal writing, and is a great parallel between Naruto and Kurama, because Kurama at first started off as Naruto's biggest weakness. However, as time went on, Kurama became Naruto's greatest strength. Meanwhile, the karma started off as Boruto's greatest strength, and has now become Boruto's biggest weakness. Honestly, I was expecting to see Boruto to have more control over his karma seal after the time skip, but to my surprise, Boruto now has absolutely zero control over his karma seal and can't even access version 1 of the karma. Also, there is a very big chance we get to see Momoshiki in the next chapter of Boruto, which is very exciting because we might also potentially see a flashback of Boruto training and Momoshiki taking over his entire body, and they get to finally explain to us what the situation with Boruto's karma seal actually is. So it's interesting to see how Boruto is going to go about fighting Kawaki, considering that he can no longer use his karma seal anymore. Anyways, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see in the future. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.